Just think about something, Meshy. Over the weekend, I saw the Warriors lose again.
Oh, man.
2 on the trot.
Yeah, not good.
Some are saying, now look, it's not me.
Yep.
Just a rumour swirling that the Pinot Wahs curse is back. Because remember when the Pinot Wahs started, the slippery slope. Ever since Matt Heath, he came onto this podcast, very proud of his victory in the New Zealand Radio and Podcast Awards for the Blackie Award, which is the funniest, most entertaining piece of content from the year, and it was the Pinot Wahs won.
Yes.
And he had his little gold trophy, and he came in here and he was very happy. And so
he was cock of the hoop, wasn't he?
He was cock of the hoop. But ever since he won that, Warriors haven't won.
Yeah. Interesting.
Best start they've ever had. Now 2 in a row.
And not to mention Lukey Met out.
Yeah, that's tough.
For potentially quite some time. Yeah, not a good look for Matty Heath.
So you got Mitch Barnett out for the season. You've got, looks like, Metcalf out for the season. So this curse could go. This curse could carry on.
This is what happens when you reward white privilege watching the Warriors. This is what happens. I mean, what is the entire arc of the Pinot Wahs is a fascinating one. It started last year, of course, when...
I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too. I think this is the
great.
thing. We all loved it. We all thought it was great. A lot of us, we've struggled to identify as Warriors fans over the past few years. We feel like we're coming in a bit late. And it was a way for us all to get involved, and it was a way for us to kind of get involved guilt-free.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we thought anyway. And then Matty Heath started the Pinot Wahs. It went well for a couple of weeks, and of course, famously, they did not win a game.
They struggled. They won. I think it might have won one, but they struggled.
They struggled big time.
Yeah.
And then the Pinot Wahs went big. Hosking was involved. Newstalk ZB was involved. Across the Ditch was involved in terms of not the TV show that Chris Key was hosting for 2 episodes. Across the Ditch.
Yeah.
It was Across the Ditch in Aussie.
Yes.
They were talking about it, and then Matty Heath turned against it. Is that right?
Oh, and then back again. He went through an emotional roller coaster on it, because I think he was copping a bit, and then leaned into it eventually.
Right. Okay. So we're back in on it now.
Yeah.
Have you texted Matty Heath about
the curse,
about these allegations starting to swirl?
Well, when he comes on the podcast this week, and if he has a go at the G Lane curse, I'm just going to throw back the Pinot Noir curse back in his face. Disappointing for me. I had a four anytime try scorer multi, and I used a $10 bonus bet. It was going to return me close to $600.
Okay.
I was one short.
Ooh.
I required Kirk Catewell to score.
So who else do you have? RTS in there?
RTS then that came in there. Is it Karapani?
Yeah.
And Shibasaki.
Tough game, wasn't it, in the end? Because it felt like we were there for the majority of the game. It was the try before half-time with 4 seconds to go left on the clock that really just put the nail in the coffin. But when we came out of the sheds at half-time, I thought, hang on, we might be on here. Very confusing these days watching a game of NRL with the Warriors involved at Suncorp, because you're never quite sure what way the penalties are going, because it sounds like every time we win one that it's a home game.
Totally. And there was a really hard to determine what was a Warriors chant and what was a Broncos chant.
So tough.
Because they'd both go up.
Yeah,
and then it was just a goes Bronco, Warrior.
So are there so many Kiwis in Brizzy as well?
Oh, the whole Goldie, yeah.
Oh, it's the Goldie, isn't it?
And
Yeah,
Brizzy,
because I just think of Sydney, of people my age moving to Sydney, thinking surely at some point we're going to show up to a Sydney ground and it's going to feel like a home game, but it's still the Goldie.
Still the Goldie, still Queensland.
All our best pinger slingers going over
there.
Yep,
that's right. Well, let's get into it. So Monday, not a lot went on the weekend apart from that, but we'll try and get through it. This is the Export, live from the Export Beer Garden Studios. This is the Agenda podcast for Monday, the 30th of June.
Jeez, time flies.
Jesus.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Drive to Survive. I hope they're following Liam Lawson.
Talk to me.
Great redemption story. Obviously, the story of the first couple of rounds of Formula One wasn't the fact that McLaren's are way faster than anyone else. Yep. It was around Liam Lawson and Red Bull and the dramas. He had 2 or 3 races and they dumped him for struggling in the Red Bull car. Replaced him with Yuki Tsunoda, who's sucked since then as well.
Oh my God.
But he career best finish of 6th overnight in at the Red Bull Arena in Austria.
I mean, that's a good point. I hadn't really thought about that. We all woke up as a nation yesterday with one question on our mind: who the fuck crashed? And not that many people did.
Oh, Van Strapon did.
He did, but I was, in terms of the qualification, when we saw P6, I couldn't quite believe it. I was thinking, geez, who's been knocked out of this thing? But
there was a safety car that came in.
There was a safety car that helped out.
But he qualified 6th and he finished 6th.
I was having a look at some of his post-match interviews, or whatever you call them, post-race interviews. A lot more relief than excitement, you'd have to say, for Liam Lawson. I think a lot had been playing on his mind over the last wee while.
So unlucky.
So unlucky.
So unlucky. But it's funny because we celebrate a 6th, because people who don't know Formula One, and I don't know it, I've just watched Drive to Survive, you're rooting for, you just need to get in the top 10, and they're almost celebrating, because if they're in the points,
that's right.
I mean, the team's in the points, the drivers get points. And if you're outside the top 3, which is basically McLaren, used to be Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari.
Yeah.
Those kind of 4 teams. If you're outside those 4 teams and you're getting points, that's 8 drivers.
You're right.
And better cars, then you celebrate. It's
There's
kind of
really
funny.
only about 2 places that you can get points, and that's what the rest of the field is fighting for. It was great from Kimi Antonelli to just run Max off the road.
Yep, that was good.
Lap. That was fantastic work.
Not good for our 3-way.
Not great at all for our 3-way. But
would you take it, though? Would you take it? The fact it's almost a bit of happiness that he took him out?
It was actually a bit of happy. I did feel happiness when I saw Max getting run off track, which is a harsh thing to say because he is so good. But, geez, why is there such a big difference between him and Yuki Tsunoda? I don't understand cars well enough to be able to tell you the answer to that question.
Well, they always talk about the Red Bull car's so hard to drive, and only Max, it's designed for Max Verstappen.
Right.
And Verstappen knows how to tame that beast and tame it well, and he drives it well. Apparently other drivers struggle.
Blockbuster stuff at the top of the grid as well. Sorry, do you have something else to say on that?
I was about to say, every driver who has sat in that second seat has not lasted more than a year and a half. Alex Albon used to sit in that seat.
Yeah, speaking of the Pinot Wahs curse and the G Lane curse, apparently that second Red Bull seat is just as big of a curse.
Totally is.
Yeah.
So it's so good to see, because I think that is almost half an episode of Drive to Survive. Because you know how they have the drama of getting dumped and everything, and then they go, and then the dramatic music plays, and then the internal radio going over, going, yes, fuck yes, yes. And it's like, you came 6th, but hey.
Yeah, that's right. There's also been conversations about the third driver from the V-Carb team, I think, being called up for that second seat in the headline Red Bull side next year. So it's just a massive result for Liam Lawson.
Liam Lawson needs to either stay in this team
so badly,
or sign up to like Audi.
Yeah. Oh, Audi would be an unreal team. Well, there's also rumblings that George Russell and Verstappen are both having a look at Audi for next year.
Great merch.
Oh.
I reckon they'd do great merch.
Audi,
and also great team car.
I think you want to be a part of Audi.
You get a team car,
Yeah.
I mean, money Ferrari would be pretty mean.
Nah,
so would McLaren,
something about
actually.
the Audi. There's a bit of class to the Audi brand, I think, that I quite like.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Ferrari, I guess, a bit showy. McLaren's obviously just their supercars, aren't they?
Ferrari's a bit red for me, huh?
Bit red.
There's a ginger. I can't really get inside of a red car without it causing too many clashes. The skin tone, it doesn't go well with the skin tone either. Also, blockbuster stuff at the top of the race, man, with Norris and Piastri. It is
still going hammer and
all
tongs.
on up there. I don't know what McLaren are going to do about that. Now only 15 points behind Piastri is Norris. They were fighting it out all race again in Austria. They were very, very close. At one point, they had to come over the radio and say, Piastri, mate, can you stop trying to overtake him because you're being a little bit crazy at the moment.
Literally pump the brakes.
Literally pump those fucking brakes. There was smoke coming out of his brakes. He was braking so late. So I don't know what's going on there, but it is going to create a hell of an end to the season watching, as Matty likes to call him, Fat Brown, deal with that situation. I don't think
Fat Brown will.
I don't think they will either.
No, I think they're just going to go, yeah.
But it could fuck them, G Lane.
But if they're so far ahead, which at the moment they are in the constructors.
Yeah.
They're miles ahead.
Yeah.
It might not matter by the last few races.
There was a lock-up, though, from Piastri as he tried to overtake Norris on like the second to last lap where he almost took out Norris. And there was a moment that the commentators went, those two cars should be off the road right now. And it's like, this is
great stuff.
Yeah, it is great stuff.
It's good stuff, because otherwise, if they followed team instructions, it's going to be pretty pedestrian until the end.
Yeah.
McLaren is so much faster than everyone else.
Tough weekend for our mate No Chin as well. Old No Chin James, whatever his name is, for Williams.
The Williams.
But I think Sainz couldn't even start on the formation lap.
Oh, yeah, brakes caught fire on the formation lap. It was
there was
hot.
It was pretty hot, wasn't it?
For Austria,
yeah.
I guess.
Is that what that is? It's just overheating of the brakes and then they go up?
The track temperature was 50 degrees. They reckon.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway. Does that mean anything?
Wow, it's 50 degrees, I guess.
Yeah.
Hot.
Cook an egg on that?
Nah, probably not. Have you tried that? Even people are like, it's so hot you cook an egg on and you go on your bonnet and put an egg on your bonnet.
You've spent time in the Middle East. Surely you did that.
Yeah, I tried it. It just slipped off. It was super lame. I had to clean up egg off my fucking car. Because eventually it rotted.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Formula One, the European League starts now, so I think we go back to back through Europe now they've got Austria underway.
Geez, really? 3 weeks of Formula One in a row?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. No doubt we'll get Matt Heath in, who's now he'll ask him what his favourite corner at the Red Bull Arena was or something.
Yeah.
Here you go.
He'll be across it.
Turn 5.
It'll be turn 5. Because lap 6, 8, 12, and 14, there was a couple. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm purely going to stick to my Drive to Survive fandom. A bit of Test cricket over the weekend as well. The Aussies put a massive chaos in the West Indies.
Yes.
For a while there, I thought, Australia on a slide here. They've lost the World Test Championship to a pretty average South African team, and they're going to lose to the West Indies in West Indies. But then they turned it around. They got bowled out for 180, and then West Indies came in 190.
And you thought, game on.
Yeah, game on. Then they came in and scored 310.
Which is cooked. Who got the runs? Do you know the answer to that question?
I don't actually.
No, neither do I.
The great New Zealander, Travis Head. He should be playing for New Zealand.
The Wormbroom.
Yeah, the Wormbroom should be.
He should be playing for New Zealand.
He seems like a New Zealander to me.
There's a whole lot of players out there, actually, that I feel like should be playing for New Zealand, but he is definitely top of the list. Or is it not that he should be playing for New Zealand, it's just we want him to play for New Zealand?
We want him to because he looks like quite a good bastard.
Yeah, he does look like a good guy.
Yeah, he does a really good bastard. So that's carrying on. That second test will be interesting.
Well, the only reason that's really interesting to us, isn't it, is that we're going to be versing a very similar West Indies squad come our summer in tests.
They are playing in the West Indies, though. It is slightly different. Inside day 3, though.
So what you're really saying there, we don't give a shit about that?
I'd like to see West Indies beat Australia just because it's Australia.
Anyway. What kind of, is it a 3-test series that they've got?
Yeah.
Nice.
If that, I think.
It's so nice of Australia, by the way, to extend an olive branch to the West Indies and say,
No, they're obliged to. Their future tours program, they have to. Every 5 years, they've got to turn up.
No.
So, and mind you, not the worst place to tour.
Yeah,
but
you know what Aussie are like.
Yeah, go to Barbados. It's not there's worse places. I mean, when you're forced to go to the Bangers or to Zimbabwe, that's not so much fun.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I mean, shout out to the Black Caps who have to do just that this summer.
Yeah, they do.
What is there to offer in Zimbabwe?
They used to go along.
Terrible inflation.
There used to be great stories of them going along, and they'd go to Heath Streak's family game farm and drive around on the back of utes. Cole Mills told a great story. And they'd go out and they'd shoot vermin and stuff, and they'd see tigers and not tigers, lions and the big 5 or whatever. So and they'd get hosted by the team and at their big ranch or whatever. And apparently it was quite social.
Do you bill it when you go to Zimbabwe?
No, they just go out as a team. It's far more social. It'd be so great. It goes, Kyle Mills, you're with the Streak family. Heath Streak, yep.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. We'll go and hit some golf balls onto the neighbour's roof or something.
Always quite relieved when you got paired with a mate because, you're either on your own or you're with a mate.
Yeah.
And you pair up and you go, oh, thank God I got a mate.
There used to be a couple. No, I won't tell that story. Moving on.
Prime. They don't do it anymore because I think they worked out that there was heaps of sex pests that put their hands up for
That's where I was
billeting.
Going with that. Yeah. And it was going to make me sound like one of those sex pests, and I didn't want to be lumped in with them.
I
just remember.
I don't think. The sex pest is usually the billeter, like the person hosting.
Oh no, that's
so fair. I would like lots of young men in my house.
Oh no, that is problematic. Yes. That's not at all what I was doing. I was more saying that I was getting off the bus with a couple of fellas and starting to identify the netballers and hoping that would maybe get billeted with that situation.
You don't get What kind of operator did you do? Because
what I was hoping was that one of the rugby boys maybe had a sister who was also playing netball, and then you could go and mingle with them.
Yeah, we once got billeted in Wanganui when we played Wanganui Collegiate.
Yeah, a bunch of hotties there as well that you could.
2 twin girls in the netball team, blonde girls, and me and my mate Hawkan got billeted there.
Jesus Christ!
And we were up in they put us up in the attic. Pretty much.
Jerry's almost turned your mic off.
I know, well, only because he knows Hawkan. And we got billeted up there, and we were in they put us up in the attic. I'm pretty sure they locked the door. But the stuff we thought about, and the stuff we thought could be possible and might be possible.
It's because you're right at that age.
I know,
where the world is starting to feel like a really big place and exciting place.
There's 2 twin.
Yeah.
girls of the same.
But you don't even know what to do other than
17.
the fact that it's exciting.
We were 17. We were up there going, well, if you go down there,
should we go talk to
What
her?
if? Well, how do we? You don't have phones, obviously.
Yeah, no, of course you
So
don't.
it's like, do we bang on the wall?
Yeah.
Do we how do we get out of here though? Because the parents' bedroom is right there.
Yeah.
And if you're a dad, you've got 2 twin daughters and you've got 2 meatheads.
Oh no.
You got 2 absolute meatheads in the attic. You are
From Waikato.
I'm at the bottom of those attic stairs with a shotgun.
Yeah,
mate.
I would be as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you would have.
if you meet Hawkeye, you would too.
I'm not sure if you would have thrived or struggled in the environment that I was in at about that similar time where Snapchat was just starting to become a thing. And I remember clearly one year there was one male from our cricket team, Tommy. He was doing some good work with a netballer, and he may or may not have been receiving some stuff via Snapchat, and that was a lot of excitement for that weekend. Yeah, but I can hate to think what you would have done with something like Snapchat.
You were like Modern Warfare, like Hawkeye and I in this 3-story house in Wanganui. We're like World War One. You had to
It was, mate.
You had to send a signals guy into the front to lay down the cables to actually communicate, whereas. You basically had drones.
Yeah, we could search them up on Instagram.
Totally.
Yeah.
You just sent a drone in. It was completely impersonal. We were running fucking high-risk operation. That's why there's so many more casualties in our generation.
That's
so many more casualties.
Way to put it. Oh, did you ever hear the yarn that we had when I was back on the Matt and Jerry show? We did a podcast with a guy who billeted with the Banes.
Yes, I heard that
and
one.
It just happened to be going down to play cricket, I believe, in Dunners, and then ended up getting billeted with the Banes. That is a different situation. I think personally I'd rather be coupled up with, the 2 blonde twins from wherever the fuck you were.
Wanganui Collegiate.
But yeah. Anyway, get in touch. Your billeting stories via the talkback function on your iHeartradio app.
Yeah, 32. Why not 32?
Yeah, well, send them through text as well.
Yeah, we can talk back. Hey, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Just a bit of an All Blacks update for you before we get into some yours pleases. Don't forget, Mashy, we're on YouTube as well. So if that's how you consume your poddies via the visual medium, then we are there for you.
Got some numbers for you, by the way. Last week's highest performing podcast via YouTube was an episode titled "The Chiefs Have No Mana." So people clearly tuning in to see you just cry a little bit.
Well, no, it wasn't that so much that. It was the talkback that said Chiefs have no mana, and then finished it by just kind of drunkenly growling, Crusaders mana.
Yes.
Which just I don't know why it upset me.
It did upset you.
It's just something about it.
Yeah, you're still talking about it.
I know.
And rightfully so too. It would have upset me.
Yeah. So there we go. So that was the most high performing. Okay, there we go.
But if you do want to see G Lane's reaction to a drunk man at 4 a.m. sending a talkback saying the Chiefs have no mana, Crusaders mana, then search for the Alternative Commentary Collective on YouTube.
You want to see a guy's heartbreak on video, then you do that. Hey, we've brushed it out on the Warriors. 26-12 loss to the Broncos on Saturday Arvo. Great time to watch footy though.
Yeah,
it looked like a great time. 55,000 people at Suncorp.
Yeah,
of which I guarantee 50% were Warriors fans. And did you see the Caxton Street Hickory, they called it?
Oh,
fuck, it looks mean.
One of the great Hickories.
One, it looks mean. In
fact,
I love Brisbane, Caxton Street, that whole thing. They just allow people just to drink in the streets, walk to the thing, have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Fans are actually being allowed to do shit.
Agreed.
It looked like a good time, and I haven't been to Suncorp Stadium.
I've never been either.
I've been to Brizzy a few times, been to the Gabba quite a few times to watch cricket, but I've never watched Code.
I feel like we should get over there and
Magic
do
Round?
that. Magic Round would be a good thing to go to.
I think we should go to Magic Round, and I mean, this is a little bit of an in-joke here, but we should take the pants man Joel Harrison, who's a 7-foot Gumby, who's a massive league head. We stick a GoPro on his head. Oh,
great!
And then we set him off, and then just
POV pants man.
Yeah, POV pants man, and then we get the footage in the morning, and then we just commentate the footage. It'd be one of the funniest things you'll ever see. Because
gonna be a hell of a lot of stuff you can't include.
He punishes a lot of former league players, and I've never seen, and he's got this. His what do you reckon his wingspan is?
His wingspan can get two forwards under each arm.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, like it's massive scale punishment. But
Yeah.
We'll do that next year.
He's got all the hookups apparently for Magic Round. All the hookups. Chris Key was telling me just on Friday night actually that him and his mates got an Airbnb just around the corner from Caxton, and they quite often will park up there. I think Pantsman was there over the weekend as well.
Was he?
Every time there's a game at Suncorp, I think he just goes straight into Magic Round mode.
Was that the Airbnb where that Alsatian was making love to Chris Lee?
Yeah,
Chris Lee. Chris Key.
Yeah, that was the Airbnb we were in, which that Alsatian was making love to Chris Key's leg. I wouldn't have picked Chris Key's leg out of that lineup. Mania, Chris Key, Pantsman, great pins.
I think he was probably the most willing, Chris Key.
Yeah, I think that's actually that's a very good point. I think you're right. Yeah.
Pick the weakest link.
He did pick the weakest link. Okay, so we're going to go to Magic Round next year. Lock that in. Sweet.
We didn't touch on it last week, but Wally Side Titty has been ruled out of the series against France due to injury. He's going to have ankle surgery. He'd been nursing that. He'd been nursing that ankle all through the final series.
It had been strapped up like a bitch.
He was struggling. So he's finally going to get that fixed. So that means Christian Leo Big Willie comes in. Not a bad replacement, given the season he's had with the Crusaders. So he was already in camp, so no real change there, and serving as injury cover for Luke Jacobson.
As you know, G Lane, well across my rugby, could talk for decades about it at length. How does this work after the French squad? Do we get a completely new squad named, or do they just kind of start behind closed doors, just letting more people in and kicking people out?
Yeah, I think so. This is it's a good point, actually. I think this is just for the French series, but they made a big deal of it, didn't they? And they went to Coastal Club in Taranaki.
Is it because it's the first of the year?
Yeah, I think so. But they will rename a new one because they've got a big break because the Aussies have got the Lions.
Yeah.
So there's about a 4 or 5 week break before we play South Africa and Aussie and Argentina.
Did I see Argentina beat the Lions or no?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, at the start of this tour.
Oh, well, that's going to be a shit series, eh?
Well, it's their first game.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, a bunch of Welshmen, a bunch of Scotsmen and Englishmen.
They hate each other more than they hate the other team.
Totally. My son went to the closed All Blacks training on Saturday morning at Albany Stadium.
Did he run it straight?
Well, he said they sat in the stand for a lot of it, just watching. They wouldn't.
I say
he got his phone out and got told off. Apparently,
I can imagine if your son isn't good at one thing, it's sitting still.
No.
Yeah.
No, he got a lot of stuff signed, and I was like, "Oh, what's that signature on you?" He got his thigh signed.
Oh yeah, by who?
And he goes, "Oh no, it was my mate Jacques." I was like, "Okay, right.
Well,
you guys are so bored, you're just signing each other's stuff, are you?"
So what does a closed All Blacks training have to offer? Is it come and look at us type vibe?
They do. They get their signatures and stuff, so they all lined up and met most of them.
Cool.
And they were pretty cool though, because they was before they played their J1 game, so they're all in their kit, their boots and everything, and they'd go watch the train. They watched the training for like an hour and a half, and then they'd go and play the game.
When I was a little fella, I was quite excited about seeing or coming across any of the All Blacks. Are kids still excited these days about seeing the All Blacks?
They're still fizzed.
Oh man,
yeah, especially kids who play footy.
Yeah,
they're still pretty fizzed.
That's good to hear.
And the fact that they're massive and they're like, whoa, these guys are huge.
Yeah, you're right. Physically,
So they had a good time, but then they were there with the team they were playing against, who was from. Interestingly for me, I stayed well away from the sideline, East Coast Bays.
Yep.
There was quite a few South Africans in amongst the crowd.
Right, okay. I imagine. Look, this isn't a great comparison, but when you'll go out on for a night in the town with friend of the show Jeremy Wells, and you can see from the moment he gets out of the car, he's on edge. He's kind of looking around. He knows people are going to come up to him, maybe insult him, maybe encourage him. You don't know. I can imagine that's how you now approach a game of rugby on a Saturday.
My God.
Is the moment you get out of the car, it's high alert.
High alert. East Coast Bays and Silverdale. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God. And my suggestion is, if you come across South African, don't yell "your muscle puss" at them. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not going to endear you.
So you thought
"your muscle puss"?
Yeah.
Don't say that.
So you thought you'd get out of the car on Saturday?
"Your muscle puss," and then jump back in my car and drive away real quick.
I can only assume what that means.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Yeah. How did so
no, I didn't
you did
say
that just before you got in the car, did you? And then you got out of there.
The earlier game actually was against a friend of the ACC, Matt Ward's older brother, Sam Ward.
Oh, Sam Ward. I thought he was overseas or something.
No, his son was playing against my son in the J5.
Yeah.
We towed them up, by the way.
As you should.
But so far, Sam Ward, he is a Fords coach.
Yeah.
He's coached in Japan. He's coached in North Harbour. I said, which one's your son? He's like, that one there. He headgear on, and he had a massively taped up, bandaged head. And I was like, that's a bit hardcore for 8-year-olds. He's like, no, he's got a massive cut on his forehead, and he ran it straight. He was like it was like a little front row. And he's like, boof. It was pretty funny. So yeah, we lost to one East Coast based team, but we won against another. So
wait, so hang on. How does that work? Oh, because you got 2 sons.
Yes, I got 3 punishers.
You got 3 punishers.
They all play code.
Right, and then to make life easier for the parents, you'll verse the same club. Both teams verse the same club, or that just happened to be a coincidence?
It was like a solar eclipse on Saturday. They all played at home.
And there was just a solar eclipse of South Africans to deal with.
So many of them, and they were gathering inside the club as well because it was raining. And might I say, pussies, all sitting in the club watching out the window, and I had all my gear in there, and I was like, oh fuck, one of them's gonna. And I kept going, had to go past them. Yeah, I know. And I left some gear in there. I was like, oh, they're going to do something to it. But they're all sitting there. Fucking pussies.
Yeah.
Get out in the rain.
Well, there's a question here before you insult any more South Africans. So what will be the AB's loose forward makeup for the first test? I don't have the capacity to answer that question. Do you?
Oh, that's a pretty good question. I think you're going to have Adi Severe is going to be 8. You're going to have... Who else we got in there? Oh, you've got, I think, Duplessis Karifi will be on open side.
Okay.
And on the blind side, I think you're going to have the human skewer, Summer Penifino.
Sweet.
That's and then I think you'll have Luke Jacobson on the bench, if not Christian Leo Big Willie.
Okay, because Luke Jacobson was in for injury cover originally, and now he's in. Okay, sweet.
But because I reckon they're going to have to give Heather Duplessis Allen a run.
Yeah.
Surely.
Looks good as well.
He's give him a go.
Yeah.
Give him a go. But we'll see. That team gets named, I guess, midweek. I don't know. Thursday. Okay.
Thursday, Joe reckons. Okay,
and we're coming live from Dunedin from Friday as well.
Oh, that's this week, is it?
Yeah, Friday. We're headed down there. We're in the motorhome. If you are in Dunedin and you haven't gone home for school for university holidays or you live there, let us know because we've got some little care packages we want to drop off to people down there in Dunedin.
Oh, that's nice.
That will keep you lubricated for the weekend.
Excuse me?
You know what I mean. But we'll pop by, do some merch drops. We've got a bit of Export Ultra merch and other bits and pieces to drop off to you.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll give you a dozen bits of merch.
Yep.
Ice cold merch.
Just merch.
Yep. So we're going to be there on the Friday. We're going to do the podcast here from Friday. We're going to be driving around all over the place. We're going to visit some bit of Heartland rugby on the Saturday morning.
Oh,
a bit of club rugby.
Shit.
Get a club rugby. Get some club rugby down you.
Oh, who's the boys that we know and love? Is it Big Sammy Todd? Oh, don't worry. There's a couple of fellas down there that I see every time I'm down there that love their club ruggers down there. Anyway.
So we're commentating that game live and free on iHeartradio and Radio Hauraki. We're doing that from the stadium, but then from Wellington and Hamilton, we're doing it from bars. Both those games are sold out.
Shit, yeah.
So
thank God.
If you're looking for something to do, you don't want to watch it at home, or you want a decent atmosphere, we're going to pack out Shed 22 in Wellington on July the 12th. But you can book a place. It's free. Just make sure you book your space and book how many are going to come along. There's going to be drink specials, 2 for 1. It's going to be entertainment. We're doing the commentary live from there. Text SHED to 3236 and lock in your spot pretty soon because now the game's sold out. You're going to want to go somewhere, you might as well go there. And the same in Hamilton. Hamilton is 100% sold out as well. July 19th at the Roaming Giant. So text ACC to 3236. to lock in your free spot for there. All thanks to legends at Export Ultra. They are always a great night. Don't miss out. Book now.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Rightio. We have quite a few to get through. 6 of them, so we'll pile in.
G'day fellas. I just discovered that some leagues do this thing where you can sync up their calendar with your own Google Calendar, so you can always see when games are coming up.
Oh, is that right?
I thought it'd be a great idea if you guys have some sort of one for general sport in New Zealand or big important events where you could sync up the ACC calendar, see what's coming up, and also see where we can watch that. Because I had that same fucking debacle where I was trying to find where India versus England was, and Googling it told me it was Sky, but then it's not actually Sky, and fuck.
Hey, you got the wind up. He got the wind down. He goes, fuck. No, we got the gist of it though. It's good, true actually, because the basketball league here my kids play in. You can sync up all their games to your calendar.
That's quite good.
That is quite good.
I didn't know you could do that.
And you accept it, and it just puts the whole season in your calendar. Can rugby do that? Hell no. Can rugby actually put out a draw for the season? No. They do it at 2 or 3 weeks at a time because they're useless.
This is why I'm not sure if we're using technology in the right way. We've got drones fighting wars, but we can't get calendars from sporting bodies to let us know when their games are.
We'll look into that, but that will require some sort of development in tech, which
it's not a strong point.
And our tech team would need to go into a sprint. They call them a sprint, and those sprints happen every decade. So maybe...
And I think one happened about 4 or 5 years ago, so...
No, well, I'm not sure we're getting the right sprint.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone out there has worked in a team that does agile, which means you go in and you... the people from Post-it notes invented it, where you get a wall and you write the benefits of stuff on a Post-it note and you put it up there, and whoever gets the most Post-it notes will do that project.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what they do. So it's not going to happen.
Right,
so unfortunately, I can send out manual ones. If you send me your email address, I'll send you a meeting invite.
Full credit for the idea, by the way. Love it.
We did do it once.
Amazing idea. It's not going to happen.
We did do it once, actually, and that was a game after the Cricket World Cup, the first time we played Australia after the Cricket World Cup in 2015.
Well, you put one game in the calendar.
Yeah, it was a Friday, and it was being played at Eden Park, and the idea is the invite came from Brendan McCullum.
Love it.
And it was like, you must be at Eden Park. And it was blocking you out from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. with a very important business meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And it came from Brendan McCullum.
We have to do that again.
But then we struck problems when it said you can't be from 1 black cap. It has to be from 3. So it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. So it's like, Brendan McCullum, Grant Elliott, and Daniel Vittori invite you to this. It's like, you've ruined it now. You've ruined it. Like, so we've done kind of something like that in the past. But, well, maybe. Have a look at it, but it's a good idea.
Great idea. Next one, yours, please.
Yeah, g'day. Just a follow-up question, Your Honour. Not even a question, a statement. Keen for this new podcast, Chronicles of G Lane. Chronological order of fucking not much logical. No, you seem pretty logical, actually. Anyway, sounds good. Keep up the good work.
I don't
More
know.
work for his. Love his fuckers.
Oh, yeah, love his fuckies.
Yeah.
I've told most of these stories on the commentary. So if you've listened to the cricket commentary or any commentary in the past 10 years, I've pretty much told them all.
I mean, there's been cries out for like a coffee table book even. The anecdotes of G Lane is, I think that
I've told most of them. I don't know. Occasionally they pop up. Like, I can't remember Kevin Peterson. That popped into my head with the Kevin Peterson go-kart racing.
Well, the great thing about Kevin Peterson being folded into a small go-kart by you was that came out about 3 episodes after we talked about the story originally.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's just...
I do forget many things, but when it comes up, I'll try and regale them as they come up. But
that's a good way to do it, I think, just as we progress throughout the year. Sport's slowing down this time of year.
Yeah, that's
We're kind of coming into a shoulder season.
I can go into the coal mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, go.
Lower the elevator, put the hard hat on and go down, son. Next one, yours, please.
Hey, lads.
Hey.
G'day, listen to the Wednesday potty.
Thanks.
Couple questions.
Yep.
Can we have a bit more Matt Heath?
Nah.
His outrageous takes and whatnot really fuel my fire on a Monday, but I'd like it a bit more often.
Yep.
Second of all, wasn't there a fucking 2020 Cricket World Cup last year? Imagine if they had this many fucking Rugby World Cups, Rugby World Cup every year, the whole country would fucking go to shutdown. Cheers, lads. Fuck the Crusaders.
Yeah, nice. I enjoyed that last comment. Well, Heath's a busy man now. He's upsetting boomers on ZB. So we've only got him in once a week. And then he's up there doing 80-10-80. So if you want to hear him do some more hot takes, then 80-10-80, midday to 4 o'clock, just before Heather Karifi Duplessis.
Yep.
So you can do that.
That's a great point. I didn't think about that. If you are looking for more Matt Heath, you're living in the right place because there's another 4 hours of it that you can't access.
No, but this is unhinged Heath on here.
Is that what this is?
Yeah. So when he goes up there, if you listen to that show, you go, that doesn't sound like Matt.
Yeah.
Occasionally it comes out.
What I will say as a man that's worked on a radio show with Matt Heath for the best part of 4 or 5 years, be careful what you ask for. More Matt. I find a once a week Matt Heath about the right amount of Matt Heath.
I do. He comes in with a lot.
Oh, it comes in with a lot.
And that's
especially
why
around Formula
he's
1.
high impact, straight off the bench, high impact. What was that other point?
I don't know. Something about fuck the Crusaders.
No, before that. Oh, there's one every 2 years. It's every 2 years. So we had one last year, sure, but this one's next year. It's not until January, February next year. So every 2 years there is a T20 World Cup, and that's been like that for a while. We had a couple of double-ups during COVID, but then every 4 years is the 50-over World Cup.
Yes.
So it always happens in between that. It straddles the 50-over World Cup. But then they've chucked in the Champions Trophy, which is another 50-over competition. And that for me is confusing.
That's right.
It's T20s. It's getting like that. It's where the money is. So unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to do it at rugby because World Rugby wouldn't be able to get this shit together.
So every 4 years, sorry, just to clarify, you're going to have the ODI World Cup, and each side of that, you're going to have a T20 World Cup, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
Anyway, yours, please.
Hey, fellas.
G'day, mate.
The kids here.
G'day,
Talking
kids.
of meningitis, I got it 20 years ago. We just played our semi-final. I was playing for Massey Rugby Club, West Auckland, Prem 2 semi-final. Got it overnight. Went to the hospital in the morning. Had to have the old lumbar punch. Lost about 6 months worth of fitness in 1 week. Still played the final and beat Northcote.
Wow.
Okay.
Big Keats.
Big Keats. Glad you better. Glad you got up from that.
Well, did he?
Also, when were we talking about meningitis?
Oh, you were away.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. I'm like,
Big Keats hasn't just come in fully unwarranted there with a anecdote about his meningitis case from the best part of a decade ago. Manoa and I were talking about meningitis, how COVID really has stepped on the toes of meningitis, because we were saying that in a world of vaping and all that kind of stuff, we would have thought meningitis would be far more prominent than what it is. But COVID has just kind of shed on meningitis, because meningitis used to be a big concern for a lot of people. Sports coaches, teachers were very worried about sharing drink bottles.
I feel like meningitis is a bit more deadly than COVID.
Yeah, I think it is as well.
Yeah,
but we just don't talk about it much anymore. Yeah. We talked about it. It was, I don't know, was it not
quite a worry
in your growing up?
Oh, it is quite a worry.
So much.
Not when I was growing up, but when you got young kids, it is quite a worry. Because all of a sudden it's a rash on the chest, meningitis, and you're in hospital, and they're like, no, it's just a rash.
Oh, okay. And then what does meningitis do to a child?
Kills them pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't want that, eh?
Nah, you do not want it. Okay. So there you go. Well, I'm glad Big Keats is all right, and he got that lumbar punch and beat Northcote. Okay.
Also, really quickly on that, isn't it amazing how a dude at Big Keats' age, which I'm not exactly sure how old Big Keats is, but like we will always remember just every kind of sporting fixture we've ever played for. We've got no memory of anything other than games like that, and it makes me happy that he's able to get that out of the filing cabinet, that yarn, and present it to his favourite sports adjacent podcast.
Yours, please. Next one.
Dilly, Mashy and G Lane, how are gentlemen? Just on the back of the abuse that the Horowhenua Kapiti refs are taking and the decisive action that they've taken, big respect. Do you mind doing a bit of admin and brainstorming some solutions to address the punters that are hurling this abuse? Do we go for the classic, put them in the ref shoes and see how they like it? Or do we take a softer view? Cheers, fellas.
This is interesting, because we had a situation not that long ago where we met a referee that we'd been hurling abuse at. Well, you've been hurling abuse at for the best part of
O'Queefy.
3-4 years.
Ben O'Queef.
And I think
I haven't been hurling abuse at him.
You blamed a finals loss on him.
Well, yeah, he did that though.
Yeah, well, look, he did. And I think that was enough to make me realise that maybe I should go a little bit easier on referees moving forward, and that was just a casual chat. So maybe...
No, but look, I think there's a difference between a professional referee, like Ben O'Queef, who that's his job.
Yep.
His job, he trains to do that. He gets, he'll after each game, I'm guaranteed that someone from the Referees Association gives him a feedback on it.
Oh.
What is...
Love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation.
What the real issue is, it's when it's someone's dad or a volunteer who's out there blowing the whistle.
Tragic, eh?
And I find it hard. I find it really hard watching, being a sideline supporter and not saying anything. So I have...
Not saying anything to the referee?
Just anything, just in terms of, like just yelling out offside or knock on or whatever. Just shit that just would get to referees.
I'll be the same, yeah.
I have to go behind the goal line. So I stay behind the goal line.
Oh, so you found the place that you can kind of come up with the least amount of thoughts.
I can still say it and no one will hear it, because there's a couple of things. I don't want the ref to hear it.
No.
And I don't want people around me to hear it to work out that I'm a penis.
Yeah, you don't want to get into it with another parent or anything, do you?
So I go behind the goalpost, and that's how I get rid of my supporter Tourette's.
Yep. Maybe if you've been diagnosed with supporter Tourette's, like a lot of these people have, is there should be some kind of zone.
I think you've got to recognise you've got it.
I think so.
And there's a lot of people who don't, and like I'm going to have to pick on them again. South Africans they don't have a filter, and they just yell and scream. Like I've recognised my weakness, and I remove myself from the situation as they just put themselves in the middle of it. It sucks, man, because it's true. Go over there and give them the whistle, and they'll run.
They'll crumble.
Yeah, and they'll go, no, it's your fucking job. No, it's not my job, mate. I'm a volunteer. Do you think I like running around getting like back chat from 12-year-old boys and then they're punishing parents?
I don't know how you fix it though. I really
it's up
don't.
It's up to the people around them. It's up to it's up to the club you're in. They've got to stamp it out, because if you've got other parents there, they need to go, dude, just pump the brakes, mate. You're fucking chill out.
Yeah, it's got to be led by the club.
Yeah, totally. And if all the parents are on side. And because you're part of punishing WhatsApp groups the whole time, you can't tell me that you're like, oh, fucking Johann's coming back this weekend. Like, someone's got to go, dude, just, if you're going to yell and shout, can you just go do it somewhere else where it's not going to affect the coach or the kids or whatever?
Yeah, facts.
So it does come from the club. And if the club have got no kind of structure in place or rules in place, then it just goes haywire. That thing that in Horowhenua Kapiti was a schoolboy game that eventually broke the straw that broke the camel's back. Because I think the reunion said, any more referee abuse, and it's done for the weekend.
Wow.
And then it happened in a schoolboy game, which always is quite tense as well, because all the school kids turn up as well, and the school kids are just
There's a lot on
terrible.
the line for the kids that are playing in that, let alone the parents. And there's quite often old boys involved, isn't there? And then people that have
And tell you what, as a kid,
the school colours for
dangerously embarrassing when your parents are yelling. Like, dangerously embarrassing. Like that's not cool. They're not respecting you. So I remember as a kid and some other parents yelling. I'm like, ugh, shut up.
I never really thought about the fact that my dad wasn't one of those, but I do remember playing a lot of sport and looking at other parents going, you look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to be old enough one day to actually be able to tell someone that you're a fucking idiot. And then, look, if you're listening to this podcast and you've been told by a friend or a fellow parent that, hey, mate, maybe you should just, put a
bring it back a gear.
Yeah, bring it back a gear. Like, don't be a pussy about it. Like, it's all good. Like, totally appreciate
Don't tell me what to do, okay?
Yeah, this is what happens.
Don't tell me.
I don't know why you have to put on an accent for that. It feels like you...
You must have puss.
Okay, we're going to move on. But yeah, I mean...
remove their pants.
In terms of a brainstorm, I don't know if
their pants should be removed.
Oh, that's a good
idea. They
idea.
have to stand there in their underpants.
There you go. That's the brainstorm you're after.
Yeah.
Okay, how many more have we got of these shitters?
One. Hey.
Yeah, g'day fellas.
G'day, mate.
G'day, mates.
Local footy. Just a quick one. 7 days on from the rugby, Super Rugby. Fuck Crusaders.
Yes.
Oh, boom.
Suck one.
Yes.
Anyway, is anyone working at Takar Stadium that could potentially put like a voodoo doll or a Crusaders jersey in the foundations or fucking something underneath the pitch so it's like a voodoo?
Oh, yeah.
So they don't have another fucking fortress. Yeah, anyway, fuck.
I like the idea. Whether there's, it'd be great if there was a Chiefs Mana fan working on the Takaha.
And you could sneak in a Mulu bell or something.
Like, something like that. What would be a good... a bell would be great. A Mulu bell would be great. Like, or just a jersey or some other piece of like memorabilia that you could bury under the pitch and then just release it 5 years later that, there's this... Because there's always those myths, especially in the States. They love a good curse situation.
They love it, eh?
They love a good curse. That's a good idea, actually. I think maybe if there's an Auckland, there'll be an Auckland engineer or something working on it down there. He
must be.
He could do something, just something.
Does it have to be Chiefs? It feels right to be something from the Waikato.
It does, but you got to admit that the great rivalry is Auckland Canterbury. But it would be good if it was the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But look, they might lose their advantage, under the roof.
They might. I did think about this. There's a genuine chance that when we start playing at Takaha that it just things don't go as well as we would have liked.
Fast, flowing rugby.
What happens
dry.
if the All Blacks don't win their first 2 or 3 games there or something?
No, knock it down.
Will they?
Yeah.
As they should.
Yep.
Fucking A.
No, knock it down.
We're going back to Apollo
knock
13.
Knock it down.
Put the scaffolding back up.
Yeah. That'll do us for a Monday. Thanks for joining us.
I enjoyed that.
And don't listen to Mash. We love you, all yours pleasers.
No, we do. We genuinely do.
Send
I'm
them
not
through.
being a dick about that.
Stick them on a microphone, on the microphone button on the right-hand side of your iHeartradio app when you're listening. If you're not listening on iHeart, then just download it and jump on there. But we don't really care where you listen, to be honest.
Last week, we weren't able to get to the Yours Please Omnibus because we had a episode with Cole Jameson off the long run. Go and listen to that, by the way. It came out on Saturday if you want to hear us chat to Cole Jameson. But this Wednesday we will be doing an Omnibus, so make sure you get them through and we'll get to all of those. And like you said, G Lane, we do really appreciate those. So keep them coming.
Not a backtrack now, are you?
No, it is a backtrack because I do feel bad because we need them. And
hey, mate, don't go to war with our audience. I'll go to war with the Saffers and the netball mums.
Yeah.
You just, okay?
I'm not going to war with our audience.
Sounds like it.
I'm not.
It's not what you said off here.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.